in, not on, lefties. Let's get it started. This is the Clay Edwards Show. We are live here on 103.9 FM WYAB. Boom, shaka, laka, boom. Shaun YURTKURAN here in the studio with me. Good morning, Shaun.
Good morning. Good morning.
If you guys want to chime in this morning, Mazda of Jackson, phone line 601-879-0002. The Guns and Gear text line 769-241-1944. Before we get started, let's do a little what's for lunch today, man. Be sure to get out to Johnny's Pizza in Gluckstadt and Ridgeland. Johnny's Pizza has delicious food, and it's affordable. Yes, sir. You can get a lunch starting as low as $5.99 for a muffaletta sandwich combo, or you can go up to $6.99 and start talking about some pizza. I think it's $6.99 for single top and $8.99 for their specialty pizzas, and then their sweep the kitchen, I think it's $9.99. Anyway, you can't beat it. If you want pizza for lunch, Johnny's Pizza House is your destination in Gluckstadt and Ridgeland. Shaun YURTKURAN.
Yeah.
Lot to unpack.
Sure.
Lot to unpack this week, especially in the last 24 hours. Let's jump straight in. Is Joe Biden going to be the candidate? I know he's got air quotes in the studio, COVID, right now.
You don't believe that?
No, I know
Come
more.
on.
I do not believe he has COVID. One of the greatest pictures I've ever seen. I shared it on my Facebook last night. They've taken the iconic Trump photo after getting shot with the flag above him.
Yeah.
They've replaced his face with Joe Biden's, and they've changed the American flag to a rainbow flag.
I've
and it
seen
says
that on Twitter.
It said Joe Biden after beating COVID.
I saw that on Twitter.
That was great. I mean, look, you know it's bad. I got a clip pulled up here. You know it's bad when Van Jones is off the reservation. Or should I say plantation, you know?
I love whatchamacallit. I love Van Jones' reactions on CNN. I watch CNN a lot, and he's just like, he's at this pained look at his face. He's like, oh yeah, okay, this is bad, everybody. We're about to get killed. Like, you know, he's so, I don't think he can hold it in. He can't make things up right now. He just says it.
Here's Van Jones saying what most of us have been saying since Trump got up after getting shot.
If you pull back and look at this thing, strength versus weakness, a bullet couldn't stop Trump. A virus just stopped Biden. You've got the nominees of this party getting their butts kissed. Biden's getting his butt kicked by his own party. The Democrats are coming apart. The Republicans are coming together.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
I
think I texted you when I was watching that live last night.
You may have. I was kind of out of it. After achieving my fitness goals yesterday, I was tapped out.
Yes, I noticed your Apple Watch.
Yeah.
So like, what, you worked out for 141 minutes? That's what you sent me?
Yeah.
That's insane. You training for like Beachbody or something?
I don't know, man. You know, like I said, I replaced.
Did you go to the sauna after, or what did you do?
I mean, look, it was intense, but I decided, you know, I'm on a goal. I'm doing this 75 hard thing, or whatever you want to call it, and I'm going to win.
Don't you got to read a book every day or something?
10 pages.
Okay, which one are you reading?
What's it called? The War Against Whites.
The War Against Whites. Oh, the one you sent me the picture of that, right?
Yeah. It was like in the media and the left's war against white people.
Did you read the entire 10 pages?
I did.
While when did you have time when you were working out for 141 minutes in one day?
After I got out of the shower last night.
Okay. Like you're reading in the shower because you don't have any time because you're working out so much?
Look, I mean, well, it's some combination of reading or listening to an audiobook. Look, that may be the part I don't get the whole thing, but this is a physical, not mental challenge for me. So if I get the 10 pages a day, I get the 10 pages a day. But, yeah, so where were we at with that before we got done?
We were talking about, you asked me if I thought, is Biden done? Is he going to drop out?
I don't know how he doesn't.
I think it's over
it's
right
over.
now. It's over. I think it's pretty clear because so apparently I don't know if any, you know, everybody else has a life except us. we follow this so religiously, but there was a meeting that Biden had yesterday where he said that he was, well, there were several kind of things that happened. There's several things that happened over the course of the weekend that none of us really knew about because of the Trump assassination attempt. Biden had a meeting yesterday where he said he was receptive to dropping out, to several members of Congress and advisors. And the question he asked specifically is, do you guys think Kamala can win. That was his verbatim question there. So.
They lied to him and told him, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. They just said, yeah, of course you can win. Just get out, Joe. We'll figure it out afterwards. So, he said he was receptive. And Nancy Pelosi apparently went to him finally and said.
So did Chuck Schumer, right?
Schumer did too.
There was a private meeting.
Yeah. They both went to him and said, you need to, you can't. Well, I think Nancy Pelosi's direct quote was, you cannot win. And it's instead of like this public assault, they've been trying to appeal to him privately, showing him numbers. But what he did have, Clay, I don't know if you saw this, he had a call this past weekend with a lot of congressmen and congresswomen, and they one of them was Jason Crow, who's a Iraqi war veteran, I think, and he said that look, Mr. President, you're down 5 points in my district, whatever district he's in, and Biden got mad at him and said, no, I'm totally not down that much. And he said, no, you are. And then Biden said, look, if you don't want to be on this train, you can get off. And he said, I don't want to get off. I'm just telling you the facts. Here's the numbers. Here's the polling that we got from my campaign. And then another lady in the meeting, Congresswoman, I think she was from Pennsylvania, she said, you're down 5 to 6 points in my district. And he said, well, here's some talking points you can tell your people in your district. And she's like, Mr. President, that's not going to work. You're just
we're past that.
We're past that point here, and that's kind of like in the rub is like whether people were, did people tell him he can't win? Well, yeah, everybody's been telling him he can't win. He just hasn't wanted to listen to it. I think that changed yesterday, and that's where this whole COVID thing, that's where I kind of think the COVID thing is kind of a cover story for him, the beginnings of him, because he had some campaign events, I think, scheduled in Nevada.
Well, yeah, right? if he has COVID, then everybody around him does. I mean, it's the super most deadliest pandemic ever.
Yeah, right.
I mean, his people are still wearing masks.
Yeah, exactly. I think that was. I don't think he's got COVID.
He's vaxxed and boosted no less than 6 times. What does this say about the vaccine, Sean?
Well, I mean, it's obviously doesn't keep you from getting it, as I've learned personally.
Are they still all spewing that same line? I'm just grateful that I'm COVID positive, but I'm just grateful that I have the vaccine because it's totally 100% safe and effective.
I haven't heard that in a while. Have you heard that in a while? I haven't heard anybody talk about that.
because most people have quit bragging about getting COVID.
Yeah. I mean, nobody.
It's like it was a badge of honor to have survived COVID.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I've met a couple of people. Somebody told me recently that they had gotten COVID, and it was just kind of like, oh, okay. Or you just become one of those things like when you get the flu. Like,
yeah. Lane just texted on the Guns and Gear text line. It says, be real. It's up to Jill.
I mean, Jill's kind of running the country at this point. Jill and Hunter, the Praetorian Guard, as I've been calling them lately.
So, all right. So we agree that this is the curtain call, right?
Yeah, this is it. I think we're finally there, and I think maybe by the weekend, possibly maybe Monday.
Could you steal any of Trump's thunder and do it today?
Funny. I hadn't really thought about it that way. I don't know. I think you let. Man, that's a good point. I don't know. Rethink that. You could do it.
I would.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, you could take a dent in him, and it switches a news cycle. What do you do if you're the conservative?
Because like most football teams, they don't want you. The NFL doesn't want so a lot of people fire their coaches the Monday after the last game, right?
Right. The Black Monday, as they
Black
call it.
Monday. And they don't like, the NFL does not like you making coaching hirings during the week of the Super Bowl because they don't want to take any attention away from the Super Bowl.
Sure.
So you know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Yeah. No. I mean, like now that you're saying that, I'm like, that'd be a heck of a Hail Mary right now.
It would.
Because Trump's like, and we can get to that later, Trump's speech tonight is really important. This ain't a regular convention speech.
No.
This is something else. Like, and I think everybody should watch it to see what he does. And I've read, and you've read, reports of kind of what he said he's planning on doing tonight, which Axios had a really good breakdown of it a couple days ago. And he actually said that he trashed his other speech that he had, and now he's focusing on like this national unity speech that he wants to, because he realizes that he's got this chance to bring people into the fold, based on what happened last Saturday. And so like it's a big moment for him. Like maybe it's probably Donald Trump's biggest moment ever tonight, in my opinion.
I think the early COVID stuff was huge.
Yeah.
We can debate how he handled that, whatever side of that you're on. I'm kind of head against the wall on all that stuff. We're past it. Let's go. Let's move forward. Let's learn from it, but let's move forward. Mm-hmm. Same with 2020 election stuff. Let's learn from it. Let's move forward. Let's not dwell on it. I think Trump's done really well moving on from 2020. I think I like to find positives and negatives.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of my thing. As bad as life can get, whatever, I like to find the positives in it.
Yeah.
I think what's come out of this is Trump is able to now focus on something else. We don't have to talk about election fraud. We don't have to talk about any of that stuff. We don't have to talk about January 6th.
Yeah.
None of that. They have gifted the conservatives an opportunity. Like you've talked about this, you know, like presidents don't get this opportunity too often. Candidates, they've gifted the whole party an opportunity to say, "Hey, come on home."
Yeah, they don't. No, very rarely does a president get this moment. You know, George W. Bush had one, obviously after 9/11.
Look, my thoughts on George Bush have changed with time.
Sure.
And I don't like him. Like I regret being a George Bush guy. I don't know what else I would have been. I just regret being a George Bush bootlicker.
Yeah.
But I don't care any of that. I can put all that aside and compartmentalize. That Ground Zero speech when he said, the people who brought these buildings down are going to hear all of us soon, I still get choked up.
So do I. Watch it on YouTube occasionally,
Yeah.
you know, and I mean, it was incredible, and that was his moment, which George W. Bush seized upon the moment very well those months following 9/11. Now he messed it all up later down the line in terms of the invasion of Iraq, of course, we all know that. But he took the moment. And he took it very well, to the point where we're talking about it almost 25 years later.
Exactly.
Right? It's stuck in our memory.
Max Steele, like if that little fireman that was beside him, if I walked into him anywhere in life, I would recognize him.
Yeah, me too.
I think he's dead now, but all that's just burned into my brain.
I remember I went to New York in November of 2001. My sister was living up there, driven up there to go there for Thanksgiving, and I went by the World Trade Center. It was still smoking at that point, 2 months later, you know. And I remember looking. They built a little wooden platform, and you could and I was kind of looking for where's the spot that W stood? You know, you're kind of looking. Of course, this before camera phones.
I've never been that far up north.
Oh, you never have?
Mm-mm. And now with all the craziness going on in those big blue northern cities, I don't know that I want to, but I will at some point. It'll calm down at some point, or it won't. I think it will. I think America is too big to fail, but man, it ain't from a lack of effort.
No, it's not. I mean, no, you should get, after that scene, well, that's a scene that always will stick in my mind forever, because you go up there and there's still smoke going for 2 minutes later, and there's I think it's the that's in Boston, the church, I forget the name of that church there. It's in that movie National Treasure, where they go in, you know, and there was pictures of just hundreds of pictures of people that were missing, and there, it was just such a scene, you know, you can imagine 2 months after 9/11, you know, stick with you forever. And yeah, and so, but to your point, the George W. Bush thing was just iconic, and we'll remember it forever. Trump's got one of those moments tonight, and it's very few presidents that get that chance.
No, I'm excited about it. I really am. He didn't even say anything the other night, and his appearance, what was it, Monday night or Tuesday night or?
Tuesday night, right? No, Monday night. Monday night. I think it was.
Well, the first night of the convention, whatever. His appearance after not being seen since he got shot.
Mm-hmm.
To come to walk through and to walk out, and man, it just chills. I mean, we were all talking, you know, group messages, and this, that, and the other, and we all just kind of said the same thing: is wow, he looks different. I mean, from Kim Wade in one group text to you to other people I was talking to Lindsay to CNN to Fox News, everybody used one word: he looks humble.
And also, it's across the political spectrums, because, you know, I've got a lot of liberal friends of mine that were sending me the same messages. CNN, who I was watching the whole thing on, they all said it. You know, you couldn't miss it. It was obvious. He looked like he had just been humbled from that experience.
That's how I gauge kind of the temperature in the room. Mm-hmm. Everybody's saying the same thing.
Yeah, it was very obvious.
And that's not interconnected. Mm-mm. And it's like, all right, we're all seeing the same thing. That kind of tells me, I'm trying to read the room a little bit here, and Trump's got a moment that he can seize on to change people's minds. We both agreed that his granddaughter last night, Don Jr.'s daughter, speaking.
She was incredible, I thought.
What they've done, too, is they've tried to humanize Trump, this RNC. I think that was a big tilt, was let's move away from Orange Man Bad.
Yeah.
And explain to people who this guy's a human being. He's a father, a grandfather. He's plugged into his kids' lives, his grandkids' lives. I thought printing off the report card part, I thought that was phenomenal. Nice little touch there. Because that does. It humanizes him, and that makes it say, "Oh man, look, he's proud of his granddaughter. He's not disconnected."
That's what I thought. Because I mean, in my view, I've always been like, okay, he's this guy full of bluster and ego, and But I mean, I like
the swims in his gold like Scrooge McDuck.
Yeah, swims in his gold. Yeah, Scrooge McDuck. I use that reference a lot, by the way. I can see over there. I thought the granddaughter just kind of said like he calls me and was talking. He crap talks me about him being better at golf. I thought it was funny. I was like, that's pretty cool that he just like, hey, I got a better golf score than you. Like that's just, I don't know, it humanized him a lot, I thought. And the things that you didn't really know about him, that I think that he has actually done a bad job of showing us that, where people's had reservations about him. It's just this kind of figure, but
you kind of put a shield up sometimes.
Yeah. But I think he should have done that early on, where that was a good thing for them to do, to show that this guy is just like a normal dude that loves his grandkids, and that calls him and prints out the report card, and it just makes you look at him a little differently, I think.
What'd you say? You're Trump curious?
Yeah, somebody like me, who like was never voted for him and now has looked at him quite differently. I mean, it was really good for me to hear that. Like, whereas somebody like Donald Jr., who I'm not really a fan of, gives his speech, that kind of turns me off, right? I know you liked it, and I can see the base liked it, but it wasn't something I liked. But but his daughter comes up there, and I'm like, man, I really like this. This is really good, and kind of, I think that appeals to independents and Democrats that are considering.
Well, the Don Jr. stuff. I mean, it's not that I like it. It's not that I don't like it. Mm-hmm. It's just I respect his control of the room, just regardless of the message. Which I'm fine with the message. I'm just saying, but his kind of vitriol stuff, and kind of rallying the troops and the fight, and all that. I like all that because I like wrestling promos.
Sure,
but it was a great wrestling promo. The way he could stop and the crowd would chant exactly what he wanted to say. Very few people have the command of a room like that. The command of an audience. I can think of two wrestlers, Stone Cold and The Rock.
Yeah,
and then this
Stone Cold,
and it about stops there. And Don Jr. had that command last night, and people like that. People are drawn to that. That's magnetic at times. So it'll be interesting to see what the future holds. Do we have a Kennedy-esque political dynasty on the conservative side? I would say for the first time, but that wouldn't be true. The Bushes, two of them have been president, so they're quite the dynasty.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Let's take a break. Sure. Come back with SHAUN YURTKURAN here on WYAB. This is the Clay Edwards Show. Breaking rules when necessary. Welcome back into the Clay Edwards Show. This segment brought to you by Miranda Lambert. That's right, guys, girls. She's going to be down at Trustmark Park for their Music on the Diamond series next Friday, July 26th. Going to be a big one. SHAUN, you're probably not a big country music fan, but are you familiar with Miranda Lambert?
I mean, I know who she is, but I couldn't name a song.
Well, look, man, I've got a couple VIP tickets, and I'm going to need a date.
Okay.
You want to go?
Yeah, I might. Hey, I wouldn't mind. It's at Trustmark.
Yeah, Trustmark.
Yeah, I can go to that because that's close to my house.
To me, it's just kind of cool when you get to go and do a concert out on the field.
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
Like, I don't have to be the biggest fan of the person. I like outdoor concerts, and it's gonna be a little hot. It's late July, but whatever. It's gonna be hot everywhere.
Oh, I know. I was there a few weeks ago for the House, Mississippi House of Representatives was playing the Alabama House.
I was there.
That's right. You came. That's right. Duh. You came later. Yeah. I mean, I just figured let's go out there and enjoy the events that we got left during the last baseball season there. I mean, hopefully they're going to do something with it, and I think it's a great venue.
It's not going to go to waste. I mean, the people that own Yates Construction are responsible for that. Those are very, very highly intelligent, very successful business people. It ain't going to sit there and go to waste. They'll figure out something to do with it.
Yeah, because I hadn't been out there in a couple of years, and I was like, man, this place is so nice. I hate that the Braves are leaving. So.
Me too. I was a little bitter about it, just to be honest, because you just don't like losing stuff. But and it's such an iconic brand. It's like, man, if the Braves can't work, what does?
Right, especially here.
Yeah, that's always kind of been my thing. Like, if the Braves can't do it, and they get to use the Braves everything, if that don't do it here, what does?
Like the Milwaukee Brewers are not going to quite have the same effect. You know.
I mean, maybe if they move the Redbirds from Memphis to here, the Cardinals 3A team. Mm-hmm. I mean, that would be big, I guess. But I don't know. I think a whole another conversation here. I don't mean to jump down a rabbit hole. Miranda Lambert next Friday, going to be a good time. I'll be out there. I'm gonna drag SHAUN with me. We'll have a good time. We'll have some tickets to give away next week, but don't wait to try to win. Get to Ticketmaster now and get your tickets today, starting as low as $59 for Miranda Lambert. They've actually got some field general admission tickets here for $29. I'm looking at Ticketmaster right now. Tickets as low as $29 for general admission down on the field. That's going to be a good time. Get your tickets today. Ticketmaster.com, Miranda Lambert. Next Friday night, July 26th, Trustmark Park in Pearl, presented by the Mississippi Braves. All right, Sean, let's see here. Back to the – okay, let's do Guns and Gear text line. Read a few texts. I hate letting these things go too long and then try to read them at the end of the show and they're all out of context. Josh says, the Bible speaks of the first beast receiving fatal wound and its subsequent return to life. Revelation 17:8 indicates that his spirit will go down into the pit of the abyss where it belongs, but will be resurrected. So if they say Joe Biden gets finished by COVID, don't believe it. Just saying, oh yeah, well, look, it. Oh, he means finish. He means finished. Yeah, look, it's going to be interesting to see how all that unfolds. Did we talk about the tweet publicly, or
no, we haven't talked about that yet. No.
So one of the LGBTQ BLM DEI hires that runs the social media for the White House and Joe Biden decided it would be a good idea because y'all may not know this. Joe don't send his own tweets. I don't even know Joe has a smartphone. He's got an old flip phone,
Rotary dial phone.
There's times
for the younger people in the audience. That was one that you used. That was like what do you call it? A circle, and you put your thing in it.
You couldn't text from them.
Yeah, you could not text from a rotary dial phone.
Yeah. So, but they sent a tweet out last night from Joe Biden's official Twitter. It just says, "I'm sick."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw. I mean, it was
like we know Joe. I mean, we read Ashley's diary.
It was so bad. Even the left was messing with him. They're like, "What the heck is this?"
It was what? Who thought this was a good idea?
Yeah, it was all over Twitter and Facebook, and I mean, I think they even made a comment on CNN about it. I think Van Jones again was like, "What the? What are you talking about?" I'm sick.
And then there's that video of him coming down the Air Force One.
I saw that
just
with the baseball hat
and brittle and sick and man, quit acting.
I mean, I think everything was so bad that he canceled that event, so he just. Things are moving quick in motion. Like we were saying, like it'll be over by this weekend or Monday. Most of the way it looks like it's tumbling. They got to give, and they also here's another thing. I don't know if you read this. So they were going to do that virtual roll call, right, to try to make him the nominee before the convention. Yeah. They canceled that. So they did
that's big.
Late last night. So that is off. So that means everything is in place for him to. Now, when you and I were talking about this on the drive over here, the issue now here is it's not whether Joe's leaving. He's leaving. Who's going to be the nominee?
That's the crescendo of this.
Yeah, right. So now that's where we're.
So I asked you the question. Mm-hmm. So we came in here Monday after the shooting, right? Yep. And one of the conversations was now nobody wants this job.
Yeah.
Because after Trump getting shot, who wants to be the sacrificial lamb? But I have a different way of looking at that now.
Me too, actually.
Could a Democrat take a good loss?
Well, yeah, I mean, like you were saying, like somebody like you brought up this morning, like Josh Shapiro, who in his press conference about the Trump I thought he came across great.
You strap the rocket ship to him for 3 months. I mean, the media rocket ship, and you make them a huge star. And even if they lose, you kind of got a built-in excuse. Well, we were late in the game. We made a big impact. And we've set ourselves up for 28.
Yeah, I mean, that wouldn't be the first time that somebody has got Trump has actually got the nomination 3 times now. But the Democrats, the last time I remember that happening was Adlai Stevenson in the 1950s ran twice against Eisenhower, lost both times, of course. But
because if Kamala loses, if you waste the equity on Kamala, because she's going to lose no matter what, right? Mm-hmm. But Kamala's
I think she would. Most likely.
And I'm just going to play the game like the others, like everybody's going to lose because it's just so late in the game to try to mount a real. But you throw away 3 months and hundreds of millions of dollars of advertising and brand building on Kamala, who we can just all agree is probably going to lose.
Yeah.
At least if you go to a Shapiro or somebody else, you're investing into a young gun that's got a chance down the road and possibly a puncher's chance to win this time.
Yeah,
I don't want to be ignorant to that.
Yeah. I mean, I think there is. I was telling you yesterday afternoon, like. This isn't over if they switch. By the way, I don't think so. And I'm just looking at numbers, and I know they're wrong a lot of times, but let's just assume for the
That's all we have to work on.
That's all we got to work on. So assuming what I'm looking at is correct, and I'm looking at tons of different places in the data on it, this ain't over if they switch out Joe. I mean, because the country is so polarized that it could be very, very close. I think my gut's telling me Trump's going to win. And I think he's kind of got the momentum of history on his side, especially after that assassination attempt. I think that's where we are with that, but it ain't like in the bag if they switch out. I would say that.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Yeah.
I don't take any W's for granted. I don't take any. No, I'm a Mississippi State fan.
Yeah, right.
Bro, look, no lead is big enough.
Yeah,
no,
I'm a
no
Dolphins
lead is
fan.
big enough.
I get it.
Yeah, I'm a Cowboys fan too. And I am a long-suffering sports fan. It's why I'm just not as into it as I used to be. It's one of the many reasons. But it's like you can only have your heart ripped out so many times.
That's funny that you say that. So, like, me and Renee have been talking about. We got Sunday Ticket last year. I've had Sunday Ticket for the last 20 years because obviously I can't watch Dolphins games here. And you know how good we were last season. And like that was the first time we've been good in like 20 years. And I was like, I went
this
down
is
to
our
the game.
year.
I said, it's it. I'm into it. Oh my god! And then of course that horrific game in Kansas City in the cold, and we were just flamed out. Anyway. So, like, I usually, like, before the season, I read all the, what's going on in training camp and, like, everything about every draft pick. And I'm just, like, do like I do with politics. I haven't read a thing about the Miami Dolphins because I just, like, got so heartbroken that I can't take it anymore. And I'm like, even I talked to Renee yesterday. I was like, I guess we need to get Sunday Ticket, but I don't really care. And, I've never been like that because it's just such a horrible effect on me last year that, like, I don't want to go through that again.
Let's take a call on the Mazda Jackson phone line. Hey, you're on there.
Good morning. How you doing this morning? Hey, I'm with y'all, but I have this doubt in my mind. Will they stop the computers at 12:30 to 1 o'clock in the morning and switch votes? That scares the hell out of me. Excuse my language.
Me too. Look, trust me. And unfortunately, that's one of the things we have no control over. So what we have to do is get out there and try to, I hate stealing other people's catchphrases, especially when they're intended to be done. But we got to make it. We got to win so big they can't. Too big to rig. Too big to rig. And that's the fact.
Amen.
That's what we did in 16. That's what we got to do in 24. Don't take anything for granted.
Amen, my friend. Have a good day.
You too, brother. Thank you. Let's take a break real quick. Come back and let's dive into some of the potential candidates who could replace Joe and kind of how that looks and how that plays out. And the Trump-Vance campaign released a vicious own of the Democrats about this very topic when discussing would there be a vice presidential debate. We'll read that too on the other side of this break right here. Welcome back into the Clay Edwards Show. This segment brought to you by our friends out at Guns and Gear, right there, Highway 51 North in Gluckstadt, Mississippi. Stop by, see Hunter and the team today for all your guns, accessories, ammo, Cerakoting, gunsmithing, and just great conversation with some gun guys. Just stop by, tell them you heard it on the Clay Edwards Show, wanted to see what they got. I love window shopping. You window shop enough, you'll eventually buy something you like. Get over there, check out the full selection, and don't forget, got a gun you need to sell, got an estate you need a clearance, get rid of, holler at Hunter, let him make you an offer for all of it. They buy guns too, no sense in having to go to a pawn shop or anything like that. Go sell it to a good gun guy. They're going to pay fair market value for it, just like car dealerships. They need to buy cars. Gun stores need to buy guns. That's Guns and Gear. Shop them online, gunsandgearms.com. Sean, I thought the Trump-Vance campaign, I'm having to get used to saying that, thought they did a really good job here. Somebody else pointed out that they're just using all the same Trump Pence stuff. They just changed the first two letters from PE to VA. But so they released a statement about the VP presidential debates, and I was like, man, I like what we're doing here. It says Trump campaign response to vice presidential debates. Have you seen this?
No.
Oh, that's something you missed here. It says we don't know who the Democrat nominee for vice president is going to be, so we can't lock in a date before their convention. To do so would be unfair to Gavin Newsom, J.B. Pritzker, Gretchen Whitmer, or whoever Kamala Harris picks as her running mate. Brian Hughes, Trump campaign senior advisor.
That's kind of funny.
I thought that was good.
I didn't even think about that. That's right. We're going to have a new vice president, so it's not going to be Vance versus Kamala Harris. It's going to be Vance versus whoever.
Yeah, man, I'm so intrigued. I take my political biases out of this. I'm just so intrigued by the fact that all of this historical stuff is happening, and it's happening at such a breakneck pace. It's hard to appreciate how historical the things we're seeing are. Let's take a call.
Oh, I was going to tell you real quick. Lindsey Beckham last night sent me this tweet talking about attacking off what you're talking about. I thought it was one of the funniest. I know you don't like the McCains, but listen to this tweet. Meghan McCain, John McCain's daughter, tweeted, "This is the most insane, intense, dramatic election cycle of my lifetime, and my dad picked Sarah Palin as his VP without the campaign knowing her teenage daughter was pregnant." That was great.
Well, here's the thing with that is I think that normal. I thought Sarah was the precursor to Trump. Like a very normal. I know it's funny calling Trump normal, but she connected. She was to normal people.
She was, yes, she was very good at that. Now, I don't think she knew anything was my issue with her. Right? That was a problem. The big problem. Her knowledge base was very limited.
She wasn't articulate enough.
Well, and she just didn't. And she just didn't know a lot of stuff. But she did what you're talking about. She was very good at campaigning. Man, she was very good at that. Her knowledge base was very limited. But she did retail politics very well. Very well. That was her strength. Her strength was not policy or historical knowledge or anything like that. But that's why I was kind of talking to last night that Vance's speech there, like Sarah Palin's. If you remember her convention speech, she brought the dogs. Man, that was a speech. And usually the vice presidential candidate is supposed to be the attack dog when they do the convention speech. Yeah. And Vance didn't do that last night. Sarah Palin. If you ever go back and want to watch that speech, it's one of the best vice presidential convention speeches ever.
Let's take a call on the Mazda Jackson phone line. Hey, you're on there.
What's going on this morning, gentlemen?
Hey, Chris. How you doing, brother?
Oh, man, I'm good. I'm enjoying all this heat and this humidity. Hey, have y'all been, I know y'all been watching everything. Have y'all flipped over and just watched MSNBC? I don't even know why they're there.
Man, I watched the clips.
They're just sitting there, trashing everything. They're not, I think, why are they even allowed to sit up? I mean, report on what's going on, not just sit there read and racist read and mad cow.
Yeah, I've got some clips of Dummy Reed comparing Biden surviving COVID to Trump being shot. Said it should be looked at as the same thing.
Oh, that was horrible.
Oh, so
they're sitting there, like people can't have a change of heart just because you disagree with them at one time. You still try to get along. It's crazy.
It is, brother. It is. I don't know. Look, it's good. It's good fodder for what we do. So keep them on the air. Keep saying stupid stuff. I mean, it makes for good radio the next day. But it is that's that. They call us QAnon, right? Or any Trump conspiracy, or if you were to suggest that the Secret Service intentionally got Trump shot, they'd say that's QAnon. You're QAnon. You're Alex Jones. But these are the same people that think face masks work, that got triple, quadruple, 6 times boosted because they were told to. The same people that still believe Trump got peed on by porn stars in Russia. And so
that one I could buy.
Hey, I was going to ask Sean something before y'all hit your break there. I ain't trying to be personal. Don't you live in Jackson?
Yeah. Sure.
What part? I'm not trying to. You got to get real close.
No, you're cool, man. I'm Bellhaven.
Okay, yeah, I'm working over here at the big church right over here on State and Pinehurst.
Oh, nice.
I got back through there the other day. I hadn't been in there in a while. Went back by the college. I mean, that's some nice-looking houses and all. I mean, it looks like it's still,
They're trying.
I want to move Jackson and vote for Tim.
Yeah, it's a great neighborhood.
I used to do air conditioner work, and I was like, man, this could have potential back in here. And I see a lot of people are actually trying to take care of it.
Yeah, it's really nice. I always lived there for like the last 20 years. It's great.
Right, like I said, I was like, man, I ain't been back. I've done that Eldora Wealthy's way back when they redone her house.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
air conditioning all. But I was like, man, like I said, I just cut through to go back, get back on Lake and cut back through River Drive. And I was like, man, this ain't bad. Like not like going to South Jackson.
No, it's not. There's like 2 different cities right there. Yeah, it's definitely.
You have homeowners.
All right, well, let me jump out of here. I got to get out here and get in this heat. But y'all be safe.
All right, man. Have a good day.
All y'all sponsors support this radio station, WYAB.
Peace. Thank you, Chris. That's we mentioned this clip. We might as well play it now. Here's Joy Reid and what's her name? Jen Circleback Psaki.
Here's the question that I have on that. These 2 men are both elderly. Donald Trump is an elderly man who for whatever reason, was given 9 seconds to take a iconic photo op during an active shooter situation. Weird situation. We'll figure that out one day. But his survival of that and bouncing right back and going right to his convention is being conveyed in the media world as a sign of strength. This current president of the United States is 81 years old and has COVID. Should he be fine in a couple of days? Doesn't that convey exactly the same thing? That he's strong enough, older than Trump, to have gotten something that used to really be fatal to people his age. So if he does fine out of it and comes back and is able to do rallies, isn't that exactly the same? I mean, it's not exactly the same. It's not the same incident, but it's an elderly man coming through out of an illness.
It should.
Jesus Christ.
Is that AI or something? Like
my ears just got AIDS.
Oh my God. That sucks.
My ears are now.
I know I'm not supposed to cuss on the radio, but I almost want to right now. Oh my God bless.
Pour the bleach in my ears now. Will that kill AIDS and COVID?
I don't know. Inject the bleach. There you go.
Oh my God. I mean, that was like 2 DEI hires just looking at each other and just lying, knowing, like just gaslighting each other. Like, let's see who can say the most outrageous thing.
I mean, let's take Trump out of the equation. Let's say, what if they said that about Reagan when he got shot? Well, it's the same thing as getting over COVID as getting shot and almost dying.
Man, unfortunately, I have to do this every now and then. I hate playing could you imagine if it was the other side that this happened to hard?
Yeah, sure.
Because it's semantics. But could you imagine how the media would be reacting, the left-wing media in particular, if Biden had gotten shot?
Oh, yeah, I mean, sure. I mean, but I always like to, look, you and I talk about this all the time. I always like to take the Biden thing out of it. I'd put Obama instead.
Yeah.
And I love Barack Obama, I always will. And you have to, because he is the kind of Trump figure to the,
to the left.
Yeah, I mean, Biden, it's just kind of, he doesn't evoke that kind of passion, So let's say that Obama had gotten shot.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Oh, God.
I mean, you know what I mean?
And I mean, every scenario being the same.
Yeah.
But you just replace Trump for Obama, it would be first off, the Secret Service person would already be fired.
Yeah.
I mean, and the fact that she went to the convention last night and
I saw some video on that.
And got chased down there
by
some senator, by Washburn, and I forget who was it, Clyburn? Washburn? I know Washburn was one of them, Marshall Washburn.
Do you see they spotted this guy 20 minutes before? Not on the roof, but he was on the corner.
Hold that thought. Well, let's save that for hour two.
Okay, sure.
Because we can unpack that for a while. We're up against the break. We're gonna come back, land the plane, have our top of the hour news break, and then we'll be back for a whole another hour here on the Clay Edwards Show with SHAUN YURTKURAN. Welcome back into the Clay Edwards Show here with SHAUN YURTKURAN. SHAUN, we got two minutes here. Let's broach the topic. We talked a little bit about who. Let's go on to who the Democrats tab. Is it Kamala and a VP, or is it all in? I think it's got to be this late in the game. I don't know how you do anybody other than Kamala, and maybe you got a strong VP that can transcend.
Mark Kelly's being floated for that. He's the senator in Arizona, a former astronaut. His wife, Gabby Giffords, was shot in 2011. She was a congresswoman from that area, from Arizona. So I've heard that, like a Harris-Kelly ticket. Last night, Daily Beast kind of dropped that. Yeah, I think there's a lot of conflict on the left on this. There's people on the left that are like a faction saying Harris because we have to promote the first black woman president, and then there's people that are like, yes, we get that, but that's stupid because she's not going to win, or she doesn't have a chance of winning. So I think
she's not going to be the first black.
Yeah, she's not going to
president.
win anyway. So like your virtue signaling is not going to work. That's a great goal you have, but it's not going to work. And so I think, I don't know. There's going to be a knife fight on this one. I mean, because there's a lot of people, justifiably so. They're like, she can't win anyway.
I mean, does Joe step down and they anoint her the first black female?
No, he ain't giving up the presidency. He's going to ride his 6 or 5, whatever it is.
Yeah.
He ain't. He's been waiting 40, 50 years to be president of the United States.
Sometimes it's a little easier to win if you're the incumbent. I
agree with you on that. I'm just saying, Joe. Yeah. I heard Cenk with the Young Turks say something yesterday, very interesting. He said he met Joe Biden in 1988 when he was a student at the University of Pennsylvania, and he said all Joe did was talk about himself. This is Cenk, who's a very progressive guy.
All right, we'll be back. Boom, shakalaka boom. It's hour 2 of the most incendiary show on the radio. It is brought to you by Lakeland Glass and Tint, located right there on Lakeland Drive for all of your automotive glass repair needs. That's your windshields and all that good stuff. They get you taken care of right there. Every new windshield comes with a free Rot-Pec repair card, good for one free repair throughout the life of your ownership of that vehicle. So that's always a good deal. And, of course, they got you covered at their Flowood Drive location for all of your automotive window tint, ceramic coating, vehicle wrap, and paint protection film installing. They use Expel, which is the industry leader in all of those products. You can go check out their Facebook page, Lakeland Glass and Tint, and see some great photos of some of the work they've done. They stay all on top of their social media, which is always good to see. That's Lakeland Glass and Tint. You go to lakelandglassandtint.com today for a free quote. Guys, don't underestimate the importance of getting your vehicle ceramic coated during the summertime and help protect the clear coat from all this heat and everything else. They got you covered there at Lakeland Glass and Tint. Downtown Brandon location coming soon. All right, Shaun YURTKURAN. We kind of got cut off there at the end of the last hour. Good, a little bit too good of a conversation to start on that 2-minute segment. So let's circle back to where we were at there. Yep. We're talking. Oh, I'm sorry, didn't have your mic on.
Yeah.
We were discussing replacements for Kamala, and where were we at?
Well, I think we were just talking about like there's who she would nominate as VP, and the Daily Beast and some other outlets are, and I think even CNN said that like Mark Kelly's a candidate for that. But then they did poll 4 other candidates. They've been polling them who are doing better than Kamala is what I saw, and I think I sent you that last night. It's Mark Kelly is one of them. And again, anybody doesn't know him, he's a senator from Arizona. His wife was Gabby Gifford. Gabby Gifford's the congresswoman that was shot in the face in 2011 and
in Arizona, right?
In Arizona, Democratic congresswoman. And he then was elected to the Senate. I think like in 2018. He's a former astronaut, and he got that background. Then they polled Wes Moore, who's the governor of Maryland. If you look at his resume and looks up, it's pretty impressive. And Josh Shapiro, who's the current governor of Pennsylvania, as well as Gretchen Whitmer. And these are Democrats polling ahead of Biden in swing states. Is what I'm looking at right now from the.
So all of them are polling better than Kamala,
and Biden. Both of them are.
Biden?
Yeah, they're all those 4 are. Yeah.
But the predicament they're in, and maybe it's. I mean, look, everybody can work some dope boy magic and move some money around.
Yeah.
But the predicament they're in is that money that's in there can be released to Kamala.
I think that's right. I've heard that.
Yeah, because she's already on the campaign. It can be transferred directly to her because she's already on everything. It was donated to Biden-Harris campaign.
Yeah.
I'm guessing what would have to happen if she's not the nominee is that money would have to go back to the donors and then hope that they would turn right back around and donate it to whomever the candidate ended up being.
I think that's right. Kingfish actually called me a few days ago and explained that. I think that might be right, or I'm not exactly sure, but
because then you're giving people a refund and you gotta resell them.
Mm-hmm. You got a refund. Like, do you want to give the money back? Well, do you?
And then they had to sit here and have a realistic conversation with themselves. They're like, is this $10 million to the super PAC? Or I guess money going to PACs are different, whatever. But I don't know. You got a decision to make because you got a big shot. You're wasting your money.
Yeah, and the speaking about the money, I meant to bring that up last hour. So Jeffrey Katzenberg, who's the co-chair of the Biden campaign, he's a big donor, and he went and told the president, the donors are not giving you any more money. So they've already cut off the spigot. Like, the money's not going. The campaign's not getting more money. Yeah. And the big donors, that's gone. There might be small dollar donations, but the big donors apparently have said, no more. We ain't burning this money. And now, would they? I think they'd probably be willing to turn that on for a new candidate, though, obviously. And then you saw, Adam Schiff, I think, came out and said that he was not supporting President Biden, that he should drop out. And that's when Katzenberg went to Biden and said, the money is not going, and you're not going to get that.
Yeah.
So I don't, I think there's certainly a money issue for anybody else that runs other than Kamala. That's going to be a problem. I don't think but to me, I'm kind of looking at like, if you're a Democratic donor, if Harris is going to go down in flames, might as well like try to prop up somebody else that's got a better chance. And like these 4 people I mentioned were, Kelly, Wes Moore, Josh Shapiro and Gretchen Whitmer are all doing better than Biden right now.
If
you believe the polling,
Guns and Gear text line 769-241-1944. What do y'all think the Democrats do? What is the ticket? What is the Democrat? Quick, easy question. I don't want opinions, semantics, none of that stuff. Just two names. Who do you think the Democrat ticket is, assuming Joe Biden comes off? Or, you know what? I'm not going to do that to you because that's still an option that Joe Biden stays on there. If you think it's Biden-Harris all the way to the end, let me know. Is there another combination you think it could be? And let's remove Michelle from that too.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Let's take Michelle. Let's like realistic people who can step in here and do it. Who are the names? Whitmer.
Whitmer.
Newsom.
No, well, Newsom was not on the latest polling. Well, they just did 4, which was Mark Kelly, Wes Moore, governor of Maryland, Josh Shapiro, governor of Pennsylvania, and Gretchen Whitmer, who's the governor of Michigan. And Mark Kelly, again, is a senator from Arizona, former astronaut. I mean, I'm thinking, like, look, if you're asking me who I'd pick, I'd say Mark Kelly for president, Josh Shapiro, since he's just a new governor, vice president. It's 2 white guys, so that's going to be a problem, right? I'm going to be honest with you. But that would be, I think, a very, very strong ticket.
Yeah, so now, and this goes back to my good loss theory. Mm-hmm. Is there are such things as a good loss.
Yeah.
And you could use the opportunity to build up a couple potential new superstars that connect with people more in the middle.
Yeah.
Not just your far left progressive side. I don't know what you got to lose. I mean, except the White House. And if you're obviously we're talking about a lot of people who are not only fighting for their job, but fighting to stay out of jail.
Yeah, I'll give you a good conservative example of a good loss. Ronald Reagan. And before he ran for president in 1980, he ran for president several times before that. In 1976, I think he ran in 72. I think he ran in 72 and 76. 76, he ran against Gerald Ford, who was the incumbent president, but he was only the incumbent because he was Richard Nixon's vice president, so he hadn't actually won an election.
Gotcha.
And so Reagan primaried him and came very close, if my history's right on that. And it was a good loss for Reagan, where then in 1980 he came and he won and then became president of the United States. So yeah, to your point, that's a good theory. So like, let's say you put somebody like Shapiro or Kelly and they have a good loss, they get the message out, things like that. And 4 years, Trump, we're not looking at like an 8-year term against an incumbent, another against him again.
4 years, gloves off.
4 years, you got a possible star.
Open primaries on both sides.
And it would rip the party away from the old guard of old people that run the Democratic Party, which I'm so sick of. It's like I appreciate the boomers for what they did, but it's time for our generation to take control of this government and move forward. But I think you've got a good shot.
I like the idea. I like the good loss theory. I mean, I'm trying to polish it up on my side, just assume that nobody else can win. I don't mean that. I know somebody can. It would be interesting because now we got youth on our side with J.D. Vance, and I love that.
That's huge. I mean, the Republicans have done such a better job at that with their talent, with propping up young talent. Vivek was there. I thought his convention speech was really good. Ron DeSantis, it was okay. It wasn't bad, but he's talented. He's got a future. He's
got to go through we love a comeback. Yeah. Americans love a comeback, and Ron started his comeback trail last last night before last?
Yeah, I think so. Right, 2 nights ago.
We'll see in 4 years if he's got the wherewithal to do it again. I think if you're not competing against a Trump, it makes it a lot easier.
Well, I mean, and they've just done a better job of propping up young talent, where the Democrats have done a really poor job. James Carville talks about this all the time. The only reason, and I'm going to play this one out for you, the only reason there was a Barack Obama, he wasn't supposed to be the nominee. That kind of got Harry Reid talked him into it, if I remember correctly. I mean, he was the young talent that shot up. It was going to be, if you didn't have him, it was just going to be Clinton, all the way through the Clintons, and then, maybe Joe Biden. I mean, it was just this old guard of the Democratic Party that wants to stay in power. And, the best one that I've seen that's actually let go of power was Nancy Pelosi. Finally, she said, okay, well, I'm going to not be in leadership. Hakeem Jeffries is going to be now the leader. But the Democrats have done a very poor job of building that young talent, which, the ones I just named, Wes Moore, Shapiro, Whitmer, Kelly, these are young talent, relatively young. And they've just, but nobody, probably people are listening, probably know who the heck I'm talking about. Maybe they know one of them, but they're just so hidden that no one's ever discussed them because you've got such old people in control.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm over here thinking. I promise I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not stuttering here on purpose. I'm processing in my mind what I think is going to happen. And I always go back to Ockman's razor. The most likely scenario is usually the scenario, and I don't know what the most likely scenario here is. This is all. This is all crazy as hell. What's going on here? I think the most likely scenario, if I'm betting money, is that Biden and Harris go to the finish line, because I think it's too hard to do anything. But I think the best scenario for the Democrats, what I would do if I'm the Democrats, is go for, hey, man, we got $200 million in the bank, whatever they've got in campaign funds left.
Yeah.
Let's build a star and come back at this for 4 years. I think that's the long play. The Democrats have always been good at the long play.
Yeah.
And it's why they've got the success they have now. It's the 100 years of cultural Marxism, everything. Like the current foundation laying the paving the road for the next foundation, and they'll never get to reap the benefits of whatever it is they think the benefits are. The Democrats are way better at that than conservatives are, in my opinion. They try to make generational change. So I don't think Democrats have a problem playing the long game, and I think the play is, you got a Kamala problem.
But yeah, you do.
And I think that's the Ockman's razor side of this. She's the candidate because it's the path of least resistance. And then you add one of those names as your VP. You try to build them up, make them a star. They don't really take the loss because they're the VP.
That's the most likely scenario. That's the most likely scenario, I think. I mean, the guy is the Ockman's razor. Kamala Harris is president, and then presidential candidate, and then one of these four.
Or your VP.
Yeah.
You make it a lot about them. You build them up. You got name value. They take the loss, but it's not on their record because they're the VP.
Yeah, it's not that big a deal for them, and they can they've got a future, especially. And then you got 4 years of Trump, where the Democrats can attack him and raise money, and their media does well. The only thing though might throw a monkey wrench in that is this: what happens tonight? I think what happens tonight changes the narrative if Trump does it right. I know they're going to try. I'm not saying they're not going to try those things. They're going to try that, of course.
Sure.
But I think he has this moment that we were talking about in the first hour that he can change this narrative. If he has that chance, if he tries to bring the country together, and then the other side is seen as being resistant to that, that's not going to be a bad look for them. You know what I mean? After this. So I don't know, man. I mean, there's going to be a lot hinges on what happens tonight, the next few days. It really does.
What do you think the narrative about, when you say changing it, what is your narrative of Trump that needs to change?
Well, I wasn't speaking my narrative. I'm saying the left narrative, the media narrative on Trump is, all these things about it. Forget about, let's go prior to January 6th, in the election. There was always a narrative on him that, he was racist and he was doing all these things that were negative. There was this, Russia. There's always was something. They've got a negative narrative about him, that he's not, he's just out for a certain group of people or whatever it is. I mean, they've always had this narrative on him. Yeah. But I think that whatever, you agree with it or not, it's out there on that side. I think he's got an opportunity to shift it where it's going to be hard to use that if he does this correctly this evening. That's why I kept talking about last hour, the moment, the George W. Bush moment. Yeah. That he's got that opportunity right now.
All right. When we come back, I want to talk with SHAUN, talk about, presidents having moments and trying to welcome new people into the Republican Party. I want to circle back to the Amber Rose conversation and my Kid Rock comparison, and why I feel like we're partaking in a bit of a double standard here, and we don't need to, and why we need to welcome Amber Rose and people like that to the party, and then it's up to us to show them how our morals and stuff work, and try to turn them on to that. But that's neither here nor there. Let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to start there. And the gay hookup app Grindr crashed in Milwaukee.
Republicans love some gay Grindr.
Is there why is it because of all the mainstream media there, or is it because that we become such a big tent party that the gays have finally realized that they like low taxes and small government too? We'll talk about it on the other side of the break. To the Clay Edwards Show. This segment brought to you by our friends right here, Pure Air Consultants. Hey guys, have you ever wondered why your AC has stopped working? The common reasons for these issues include a flip switch. Well, you're lucky if that's all it is. a dirty condenser, an improperly sized unit, an old unit, or a malfunctioning thermostat, or, of course, a malfunctioning unit. For over 40 years, Pure Air Consultants has been delivering exceptional cooling systems to Central Mississippi. They want to offer you a free, rare gift, a labor warranty, a free labor warranty for 5 years. They got you covered on new construction builds, thermostat installation, air conditioning unit, heater installation, and more. Financing is available. Pure Air Consultants also specializes in air duct cleaning, air duct sealing, and dry vent cleaning. Make sure the air you breathe is as clean and fresh as possible. Contact them today at mypureairconsultants.com. Ream a new degree of comfort, as Sean
Coughs, yeah.
chokes over there.
Yeah, like this, yeah. Sound like Joe Biden at the speeches.
All right, Sean. So this is one big conversation.
Yeah, sure. The grinder thing.
But let's start. We'll work our way to that. Let's start with this Amber Rose controversy.
Yeah.
Me and Lindsay touched on this yesterday, but I want your opinion on it too.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Walsh, the Daily Wire, none of them are Trump supporters, by the way.
Okay.
They're conservatives, but they're not Trump supporters. So, which makes me tell people you're not a conservative. Like, people on my own show have gotten mad at me before for saying that Ben Shapiro is not a Republican. Mm-hmm. He's not. I mean, I don't know what to tell y'all. He supported Hillary in 2016.
Did he? I didn't know that. Okay.
So, I mean, if you supported Hillary, you're not a Republican. End of the discussion. Well, let me rephrase. He didn't vote for Trump, so that's a vote for Hillary.
Okay.
I mean, that's how I look at it. Anyway, neither here nor there. The Daily Wire has been trying to guilt anybody into thinking that if you welcome Amber Rose into the party, we're just going to have one big slut walk,
okay,
or slut march, or whatever it was.
Was she like slut-tastical or something?
Well,
I don't know a lot about her.
She had a march called the Slut March or something in California.
Oh, yeah, I just pulled it up. Okay, slut walk.
That's it.
Slut walk. Sounds like a great thing.
Yeah, like, where do I get my ticket?
Where am I going to do that?
Anyway, so she's got an OnlyFans page and all that stuff. And look,
That sounds awesome.
I don't condone any of that. But here's the deal: if do we want to win elections, or do we want to stand on our moral high ground and keep telling everybody you can't come to this party until you've been forgiven for all your sins?
Moral purity test. Or something.
Yeah. Like, is that what we're going to do too? Because I'm not signing up for that either.
I told you this yesterday. That's always what's turned me off about the Republican Party. A lot of things I agree with fiscally, and many things. Like, obviously, I'm with, I was in the Marines, so I'm there on defense, and I'm not a huge fan of just overreaching government. There's some things I like, some things I don't. But the problem that I've always had since I was young is this telling me what I can and cannot do. That's always been, I think that's a turnoff to a lot of people, where they kind of go into the Democratic fold because of that.
Well, and all right, so then we welcome a Kid Rock in,
mm-hmm,
who has songs that are basically all about sex, drugs, rock and roll, just for a lack of a better term. And we have no problem welcoming Kid Rock in with open arms. Tate Reeves takes a picture with Kid Rock. I love that. Yep. Couldn't be two more polar opposite people in the world. but somehow it's a Kid Rock's okay, and I guess maybe this is a bit of a kind of a feminist kind of statement. But for whatever reason, it's not okay for the female version of that to be up there. I thought her speech was great. She talked about her dad and being a veteran and everything. I mean, I thought her speech was great, and I thought that it reached an audience that we probably had no ability to reach. One of the things I've seen a lot of people talking about is how white the audience is, mm-hmm, at the RNC, and how white the Mississippi representation was.
Yeah,
I know that some people online are big mad about that. There's no or little to no blacks in the photo of our state representation, and that just tells me that blacks are voting against their best interest. We welcome blacks into the Republican Party here in Mississippi. You got to participate. I mean, it's not closed participation. It ain't white only. You're welcome to join the party.
Look at Kim Wade. There you go.
Yeah. Well, so and here's the other thing. So let's take that, and Republicans acting like they're holier than thou, and like there's a purity test of some sort. And again, I'm just going to speak from personal experience here. Republicans and Republican women are freaks too. So make of that what you will.
So can't everybody just fly the freak flag and just let's drop this?
Yeah, just like we get it, man. I saw you walking out of Romantic Adventures.
Yeah, knock yourself out. I mean, yeah. I think Trump wants to do that. Even because we obviously know he's a freak, and he changed the platform a little bit, like dropping the gay marriage thing, like anti-gay marriage part, and I think you always call yourself like a barstool conservative, and I think there's a rise of that, especially in younger generations, where it's kind of away from this evangelical conservatism, and that's opening up the party to a lot more possibilities, larger possibilities of people.
And I'm a Christian conservative. I mean, I'm a Christian and I'm a conservative, but they're not. They don't have to be interlocking.
Yeah,
they're together but separate at the same time, and I think that's how most people truly are. So here's the other thing. Here's how I'm going to tie this back. Now we sit here, and the same people who are shaking their fists at the clouds about Amber Rose being up there speaking with her sexual past and current sexual. She makes money being very sexual. I don't know that she's not a porn star, but she misbehaves on her OnlyFans for money, whatever. It's legal. So there's an app called Grindr, from what I'm told, that gay people use to hook up. I guess it's like a gay Tinder.
Yeah, gay Tinder.
Is that what it
gay
is?
Tinder or Bumble kind of thing. Yeah.
Okay, so there's a gay version for that, and apparently they had such a surge of use in Milwaukee that it crashed. Well,
Yes.
What's going on in Milwaukee right now, Sean?
The Republican National Convention, and also I do have a tweet here from the
Moms for Liberty folks are there too, right?
Yes,
they're a bunch of freaks.
They're freaks. I mean, so the executive of the gay dating app Grindr released a statement saying that the Republican National Convention is basically Grindr's Super Bowl. So that's what he said.
It's all the mainstream media outlets there covering the event. CNN's there. I saw Jake Tapper.
I mean, I'm sure there's partly that, but there's a lot of in-closet Republicans, man. We've seen that. We've discussed this.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just because they feel like they can't say they're gay. Because it's not cool. Like if you're a Democrat, you're like, I'm gay, it's cool. You can do that. But if you're a Republican, it's tough.
Well, I mean, Mississippi almost had a in the closet Democrat governor.
Yeah, but that's because Mississippi is one of those states where a Democrat would have to lie about being gay. But any other place, it's a positive. It's on the checklist. I mean, you're kidding me? Like what if it's like a gay black dude somewhere? Like you're winning that nomination. I mean, you're gonna. I mean,
you check off the two most important boxes. Yeah. Are you trans too? By the way.
Yeah, I mean, there you go. You'll do that. I mean, like they're just gonna throw whatever it is in it. So on the Democrat side, you could do that, but on the Republican side, I think before kind of social attitudes have changed. Like there's statistics from 2003. It was like 70% of the public was against gay marriage, and they did another poll last year. And now it's 70% in favor of it. So you that's where there was that group called the Log Cabin Republicans, because they used to say that Abe Lincoln was gay, so Log Cabin Republicans, and it was kind of like we were like, I can't believe these guys are Republicans because you're gay and whatever it was, and so they've kind of been conditioned to be in the closet. Because they feel like, well, I can't, be gay and be a Republican and then talk about like Christian, I love Jesus 27% more than my opponent and all that stuff y'all do, But so I think that's kind of what's happened before, and that's why you see a lot of that.
It's interesting, but what it does tell me is there are a lot of gay conservatives out there, and that's why I try to warn people. I know I get pegged as a. I don't get pegged. And I get pegged as a homophobe and all these things because I talk out against the gay agenda. Yeah. But I mean, I know my listeners have to be tired of me always throwing this out there, but I'm not anti-gay. I'm not pro-gay. I just don't care if you're gay. I don't care what you do in your bedroom. Just keep it in your bedroom.
Right.
That's all I ask. And for some reason, like if I don't support pride parades and trans happy hour and trans daycare and trans reading hour and all this stuff, somehow if you don't support shoving the trans and gay and LGBTQ BLM agenda down kids' throats, you're somehow anti-gay or you're somehow a homophobe. Mm-hmm. And that's just a damn lie. That's no more of a lie. That's no more truth than calling Trump an existential threat to democracy. Like, quit gaslighting people. You're making people homophobic. You're making people transphobic. You're making people racist when you constantly call them all those things.
Yeah.
And they're actually not those things. Like,
right.
You're making them hate you.
I think we talked about this on the phone. Like we talk about this all the time. Like, yeah, I know, now I know you really well. Like, you're definitely not anti-gay. You're always like, I don't care who's gay. It's just the kind of the issue is, and people have to unpack it. It's why, why do we celebrate everybody's sexuality here? Like, everybody's just cool. You're gay, cool. Knock yourself out. I don't care what you do.
Gay or slut? I mean, I don't.
Yeah,
I don't
like
care.
if you're a slut, like that's fine. Like, do all the guys in town. I don't care. Like, that's got nothing to do.
Just don't holler at me.
Yeah, I mean, and if you're a slut and gay and you like smaller government, you should be able to be a Republican if that's what you want to do without consequences. And I think that's kind of what we're discussing here is like, why is this, like, the Republicans have had a problem sticking to this, like, moral purity stuff where they just need to drop it. Like, we're 2024, everybody. You know, let's move on from this.
There's enough special interest groups that can handle all their stuff they want. You know, you got lobbyists, you got all these things. Keep working that system. I mean, they do it on the other side. I just think that if we're going to sit here and do this moral purity test on everybody that comes in, it's like, well, we don't need her. We don't need to be platforming her. That's it's what the church is supposed to be doing. The church always tells me, at least the successful churches I go to, like Hickory Ridge, for instance. When I go out to Hickory Ridge, they do such a good job there of welcoming in people fresh out of addiction. Fresh, I mean, could have got high last night and come to church and want to get saved, and they treat these people good, and they don't frown on them, and they try to help them, and they put them on a pedestal and use them as an example of people that can be at rock bottom and get their lives together and see the light. That's Amber Rose is doing that in live time.
Yeah.
You know, and it doesn't mean that she has to go get baptized and be forgiven for all her sins because she supports Trump now.
Exactly. I mean, right? Yeah. I mean, can't you be a slut like Trump? Like, why can't you be a slut like Trump? I don't know what's wrong with that. It astounds me.
I know a lot of women that are sluts that like Trump.
Me
we
too.
should probably
Stop that. Yeah, we're going to do that. Yeah,
we're kind of pushing the limits, but you know, neither here nor there. Just be more open-minded is, I guess, what I'm saying, and be glad that we got some people on that want to be on our team. Republicans, one thing I have to tell y'all, you got to learn how to win. You got to learn how to know when you're winning and take a dang W sometimes. Like, I mean, just some of y'all just are so used to losing and getting clubbed upside the head that you don't know when you're winning. We're winning right now. I mean, I know there's bad days, don't get me wrong. You know, the president getting shot was a bad day. But we're winning because of it. We're coming out of that. People are waking up and they're seeing things they've never seen before. And about Trump of all people, somehow the Orange Man bad has turned into Orange Man rad.
Yeah, right. That's true. I mean,
you know, let's enjoy the moment we got. Let's take a break. Yep. We'll be right back with SHAUN YURTKURAN. Welcome back into the Clay Edwards Show. Guys, if you're going to be in downtown Jackson today, be sure to swing by Old Tavern on George Street and grab some lunch. The Blue Plates crank up from 11 to 2 every day. They're open Tuesday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 2 a.m. That's right, man. You get them late-night hunger pains. Get over there, try one of their famous burgers. The Creole pasta is absolutely phenomenal, but they got so much more, man. You got the Creole pasta. You got the Simmons catfish, hamburger steak, fried chicken. Oh, the fried chicken's awesome there, by the way. It's been awesome there forever. You know, they bought Two Sisters, so they got all those recipes. I don't know that they use them all to the T, but if you love fried chicken, get down to Old Tavern and try the fried chicken. You will not be disappointed. Of course, the pimento cheese fritters were a favorite at that lunch I had the other day. We had several different tables ordered the fried pimento cheese balls, and they did not survive. They're some of the best appetizers I've ever had in my life. It's almost as good as, if not just as good as, the Dynamite balls out of Acme Pizza. Swing by, try them today, and don't forget every Friday it is a fried fish Friday on the Blue Plate at Old Tavern on George Street. Properly located inside the CCID with Capitol Police, securing the perimeter so you and your vehicle are safe at Old Tavern. Sean, we were talking during the break. I think I want to put an explanation point on this.
Sure.
About so one of the things I criticize the left about the most is if you don't 100% agree with every single thing, every single agenda, every single a letter in the alphabet soup that they operate under, you're not allowed under the tent.
Yeah.
I don't want to see the right do the same thing. And some of this kickback from the Amber Rose thing kind of reminds me of the way the left does. And I don't want to see that. We got to be more
Inclusive. You go. I did that word.
I don't want to. I don't like that. I just hate the way the left has hijacked words.
I know.
But we need to be welcoming, and so then it's up to us. If you want to be moral and sit on the moral high ground, and explain to people that, hey, you're going to hate your life later on down the road if you show your boobs and all this other stuff and you're naked on the internet. Like, that stuff never goes away. And as you get older, you're probably going to regret that. If you want to have that conversation with people who are at least open to hearing it, great. But don't let it be the determining factor in them going in and pulling the lever for Trump or whoever the candidate may be. I mean, we've got an opportunity to make some generational changes culturally as conservatives by welcoming people into the party that otherwise would have had no part of it, and constantly be out there with their big megaphones, with their platforms and all that, screaming, vote blue, vote blue, vote blue. It's nice to have some of the people screaming, vote Trump. I mean, I got a text from, who was it here? Wild Bill says, be careful who you let under your tent. Well, I don't think you got a problem letting anybody under the tent. Just be careful who you let become a decision maker.
Yeah. I mean, or it becomes your opponent. You know? I mean, instead of excluding people from, if they believe, who said that? I know you said it before, but I heard someone else say, they may have been to the convention. I mean, if they agree with you 51% of the time, that's pretty good.
That's me. I'm like, I just need to agree with politicians 51% of the time.
I mean, if they do, 51% of the things you want, then what are you going to do? I mean, then maybe you should vote for them, because you're not going to agree with anybody 100% of the time. There's no way to do that unless you're just a sheep and you're just like, yes, I agree with a checklist. Like, I have to be pro this, pro this, pro this, pro this. But I mean, you're not a free thinking individual. Like, you can believe in small government and you can believe on limits on government regulation and have an OnlyFans page. They're not mutually exclusive. You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't make sense to me. Like, why you have to, like, you definitely, if you have an OnlyFans account, you have to be a big government liberal, or if you're a Christian and you are into government healthcare. Okay, maybe that's what you want. I don't know. I mean, they're different issues.
100%. Yeah, you can be a Christian and want free healthcare.
Yeah, I mean, right, you can.
I mean, it's like, because that I'll have to say, how can you be a Democrat and a Christian? And there's obviously ways, but I just think that we're gotten very distant. I love this text here from Josh. He really drove it home here. He says, when you're in a gunfight, the morals of your fellow service members don't matter. You just want them to be returning fire and hitting the enemy. I mean, I think that's perfect. Perfect analogy for what we're talking about here. I don't really like if I'm in a fight for my life and some trans gay black dude has got my six.
It's in your foxhole with you.
It's in my foxhole with me. None of that matters. Can you point and shoot?
Yeah, I mean, that's all that should matter. I mean, if you have the same policy agenda that's like let's say you and I were talking about this is on the drive over. Let's say that you want money that's spent overseas directed to infrastructure issues, right? And that you both agree on that, but one guy happens to be a transgender dude and you happen to be a Baptist. I mean, who cares? Like, you both want a road built, or you both want but you want interstate fixed.
We both got to drive across the bridge to get to where we're going.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter like who he sleeps with or you sleep with or whatever. I mean, it's ridiculous that this is even part of our political discussions. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, look, all the gay stuff, I don't have to agree with it. I'm not me co-signing on it ain't me agreeing with it or whatever. It's just like, you do you. Yeah. I'm gonna do me, and just I don't want to be judged by what I do. I just think we're getting into this mudslinging thing, and I understand why the right participates in it, because we've been beat up a good bit by the left especially for the last 8 years over everything, and it's really been ratcheted up. So I understand why the right wants to fight back. And we need to fight back some. But I'm also saying, hey, when we convert people, let's show them some grace. It was like Jerry calling in here the other day, railing on you. It's not my job to stop Jerry from railing on you. But I thought, look, man, Sean's already come out and said he's voting for Trump. I don't know what else. Take the W. Like. Take the W.
Well, people just like to fight, and that's just what it is. They just don't realize. And it doesn't. The thing is, you and I talked about this yesterday afternoon. What has all this gotten us? All this fighting back and forth. What one thing have we got? A president shot at, right? Yep. Shot, exactly shot. Yeah. I mean, we've gotten that. I mean, I'm talking about the course of the last 30, 40 years. what has one single positive thing that we've gotten from all this bickering, whether they're going after the Clintons, whether they're going after Trump, whether they're going after Obama? It's gotten us nothing positive, not one positive thing. I mean, maybe you feel better because you got to crap on the other side for a moment there, but you haven't got a single interstate built because of it. You haven't got positive healthcare outcomes. You haven't got anything from all this vitriol, not one thing. It's not been worth it. It's stupid to me. But
let's take a call on the Mazda Jackson phone line. Hey, you're on the air.
Hey guys, how are y'all today?
Okay, good. You got about 2 minutes.
Well, real quick, it's amazing to me as a conservative that the Republicans want to have a moral test while they're supporting Trump. I'm not. Like I said, I'm going to vote for Trump. That's fine. But let's be honest. He's got 3 baby mamas. That's
a good point.
If you're going to do the moral high ground, Trump's not your guy.
Yeah,
agreed. 100%. 100%.
So I'm just. He's got flaws. He's got.
And that's why he's so palatable for so many people, because so many of us have flaws. And when you look at a guy's like a guy of that stature, a man of that, a public figure like that, that's imperfect, it makes him more relatable. No matter how much money he has in his banks, it's like, you know what, he's flappable too.
Yeah, I mean,
he's committed a lot. He's admitted to a bunch of them. He's talked about buying politicians and grabbing women and
likes porn stars. Who doesn't? I mean,
he hanging out with the porn stars and it doesn't matter. I'm just saying that don't have a moral high ground if that's your candidate. Don't preach about not letting somebody else into the tent while you're supporting him.
Man, that's a great point.
Great phone.
Or a candidate similar to him.
100% great point.
Great phone call, brother. Thank you.
Bye.
All right. Let's take a break. Come back, land the plane for the day. This is the Clay Edwards Show with SHAUN YURTKURAN. Welcome back in to the Clay Edwards Show. SHAUN YURTKURAN here on a Thursday. Sean, we had a lot of topics today, man. I thought it was a conversation that needed to be had.
Yeah.
I kind of hit that Kid Rock, Amber Rose comparison late in yesterday's show and didn't get a chance to really expound on it, so I made a social media post about it. And, again, and we just talked to Andrew Gasser, and he agrees. He'll be filling in for Jameson today from 10 to noon, so y'all be sure to stay in for a little political church coming up here at the 10 o'clock hour. I think we got Mike Madison next. Sean, I just got a notification that Dana White and Hulk Hogan will be speaking tonight at the RNC.
Oh, really? That is right up your alley.
Right up my alley.
That's right up your alley.
Right up my alley. Look, I appreciate all the texts. Spartacus says, in all fairness, Trump was once married to all of his baby mamas. That's fair.
Yeah, I guess he was. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
that's fair. So,
he's been divorced 2 times though. So
yeah.
I mean, so have I. I can't really hate on him than that.
Point being, I'm not judging.
I don't judge because I think it's fine. Do what you want.
I would rather have a Trump there with his flaws than I would some guy that doesn't have any public flaws, because what are his private flaws? Because everybody's got flaws. I think Mike Pence was gay.
Oh, yeah, I always thought that.
And he hid that. And I'm like, no, don't hide it. Just be gay if you're gay,
Yeah, I mean, I think you can love Jesus and be gay. There's nothing wrong with this. And that's where everybody's got to get past all that. And
well, here's my thing. And I know we've had this conversation before, and I know this is a bomb to drop with a minute left, but y'all keep telling me, and everybody keeps telling me, that no sin is worse than any other sin. So if you're out there having premarital sex, your sin is just the same as the gay Christians' sin of being gay.
Adultery, you'd rather cheat on your wife? That was no difference.
Yeah, no different. I mean, I don't know that I believe that. I think that if you make it through my whole life without murdering somebody, that premarital sex will be forgiven before murder. But whatever. All right, we're out of here.
All right.
Peace.